For firstborns, Bill Clinton. He's
Okay.
firstborn. Winston Churchill, William Shakespeare, Einstein.
Wow.
And then we have Hillary Clinton. So you can see the power struggle there probably.
Because they're both firstborns.
Firstborns, married, that's hard. Sandra Bullock, Keanu Reeves, Harrison Ford, Matthew Perry, Jennifer Aniston, Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, Chuck Norris. The list goes on and on, Ben Affleck. So 2 firstborns in a marriage, they tend to bump heads. So you have to distinguish who's going to be paying the bills, who's responsible for getting the oil change in the cars. They have to really line that up. Otherwise, there's a lot of conflict.
Right. Which is so funny in my family, because just thinking about my mom and my dad, I never saw that.
That's awesome. Like, you must have had those conversations.
Maybe. Or my mom just, because they never, like, maybe it's my mom I wouldn't picture as a firstborn, because she's just not as competitive like that.
Sure. Okay.
I don't know. That's very interesting.
That is interesting.
Okay, so let's go to the youngest.
The youngest, okay.
Yes. The babies. We'd say they're the spoiled ones, right?
It's so true. The apple of their parents' eye.
Oh.
I'm sure we're all thinking about our youngest sibling right now.
And if you are the youngest and you're listening.
Oh, sorry, but
you're spoiled.
But it's true. They manipulate their siblings into doing their work.
Ooh, yes.
Yep. They're used to getting what they want from their parents. They are the entertainer. They don't worry. They have like the be happy mindset going on. They're affectionate, engaging, but the center of attention. They act impulsively, which cracks me up because my brother, Cody, he, like as an adult, just recently, he scrapped our trampoline that we had growing up without telling any of us. It was a very sentimental value thing. I mean, it had been beat up over the years, windstorms and all that.
Still.
Right? We're like, Cody, what in the world were you doing? And he just wanted to do it, so he did it.
He's like, don't you want to thank me for taking care of this?
Right. We're like, no, not at all.
Oh, man.
But they are funny. They have great people skills, which looking at my brother, I'm like, he can just go for it. I appreciate that about him. Never met a stranger, least likely to be punished. In the book, they're like, they could get away with murder and no one's going to punish them.
Yes.
Yeah. And then something also with my brother, they retain their nicknames and the pet names. My sister and I definitely came up with some, and we still call him those to this day. He hates it every time, rolls his eyes, but it's how we think of him.
It is so true, because my younger sister is really the only one in the family that we always call by a nickname. We never call her by her name. And she'll even say that. How come you never call me by my name?
Oh,
and then when I
funny.
heard that part in the book, I thought, it's not just our family.
No.
Everyone's like that. That is so funny.
Yeah, because we don't call, like me and my sister, no, just Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Okay, so who are some of the babies of the families?
Well, a lot of comedians. So Ronald Reagan, he actually, obviously a president, but he was also an actor. So that shows his like youngest side.
Yes.
Right there with being an actor and a comedian, just funny and putting himself out there like that, but then also a reserved president. And then a lot of actors. Eddie Murphy, Martin Short, Whoopi Goldberg, Jay Leno, Steve Carell, Danny DeVito, Jim Carrey, Ellen, all of them.
Kind of the life of the party, which is what I would picture for a baby of the family.
Yeah, exactly.
So interesting. Probably because they're used to having everyone's attention.
Yeah. Yep, you sure are.
So interesting. So the importance about the book, though, too, is because you're, especially like when you get a blended family, the birth order does not change.
No.
So you would have, 2 firstborns, or you would have 2 middle. So that doesn't change. And then also, the book explains even more about the years in between. So I think it's if there's like 5 years space between a sibling, then the birth order starts over again. So then you would have a firstborn.
Yes.
So you were saying, for your family, your brother is actually...
So Cody is 5 years younger than me, and then 7 years between him and my sister. So when it is 5 or more years of a difference, that becomes like your second family. So Cody is like the first of the second family. So really it's just me and my sister as the first family. Now when you have like 7 to 10 years of a gap, which is actually how it is for my mom and her side of the family, you kind of become like a quasi only child. And so Cody's not there exactly, but for my mom, that's how she grew up. Surrounded by siblings that were like already graduated and out the door when she was just a little girl. So just a very different experience, and life perspective for her compared to her siblings are so different.
That is interesting.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And it's just really good to know all this. Just the fact that the youngest is going to have a nickname. That's just how it is.
Right. Or even for your coworkers. Like I think we've all had that boss that's so fun, like doesn't want to get down to business just yet. Like, let's talk a little bit longer.
Yes.
Like a certain boss of mine comes to mind, but he was a lot of fun. And then others, they're like, crack the whip, let's go,
Yes.
no talking.
Yes.
And so it just doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just they might be the oldest.
And talking about work too, if you're working on like the sales side, it's really important to know this person likes to know every single detail. Whereas this person is, maybe the youngest, and it's just, we just want to get the deal done. So tell me what I need to know. I don't
Just
want
the
to be on
cliff
the
notes.
phone for a while.
Yeah.
But then when you talk to a firstborn, it's like, I want to spend 2 hours on the phone, and I need to
Right.
understand every detail, and I need to understand if those details don't work out, what's next. It's just.
Yes, there's a plan in place.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's very helpful when you're working with people.
That's right.
But I will say it's almost overwhelming. It's a book that when you listen to it, it's great to just listen to, like I think both of us, I listened, you read.
Yeah.
But then to go back and listen to it or read it again on purpose, like regarding,
Right.
I want to see where my family fits in to understand them. Or I want to kind of understand the oldest characteristics, so that way I know when I'm working sales with this person, do they want the details or not.
Exactly.
So it's good to, I think, read it or listen to it at least twice so you can
Exactly.
really fine tune it.
Yeah, definitely. And even like the characteristics that I've listed, you might not have every single one of those traits
Of
for your
course.
birth
Yes.
order. And of course, that's fine. Some might be a hybrid just because maybe there's someone adopted in your family, or there's a death in your family. Maybe you had to step up to the plate a little bit more. So there's other things that have an effect, maybe divorce, or if one of your parents remarries, stuff like that.
Right.
Even though you keep your the order of that you were born, you might adapt a couple other traits along the way.
Right, because when there is a death in the family, the birth order still remains the same.
Yes.
It doesn't switch that up.
Right.
So you don't get bumped up or
No,
anything.
no.
You stay the same place you were.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think, does that about finish everything?
I think so, yeah.
And I just wanted to remind myself and everyone that we were created on purpose. Like,
That's right.
Every detail of us was created by an amazing Heavenly Father
Mm-hmm.
and created on purpose. And this just helps us understand each other even
Mm-hmm.
more. And so Ashleigh and I, we get along great because we're both
That's right.
the middle child here.
Yeah.
But then we can understand, how to work with an older person as well. So
Yes.
helps out in family relationships. It helps
yeah.
out in work. And
Just all around a good thing to know.
Yeah.
And by knowing this, like, you're so much better off, maybe compared to somebody else who doesn't know this,
Right.
and just how you attack things and, the relationships that you form.
Yeah, I agree. Well, guys, we will catch you next time on the Girl Talk podcast. Hey, girlfriends, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to our podcast today. We are grateful to have you here.
We are Girlfriends Just Talking. We want to encourage women to live an intentional, powerful, positive, and spirit-filled life.
Come check us out over on Instagram and Facebook, where we have a community of women encouraging other women. We'll see you there.